They told us the isolation would get to us. They never told us it would get into us. All at the same time. This is Outpost Vega. For 8 months, these 5 men guarded a silent mountain pass. Then, 3 weeks ago, they stopped sleeping because they all started dreaming the exact same dream. Of a figure on the ridge, of a slow scraping sound. This is not a ghost story. This is a documented psychological event that echoed across 3 isolated bases. Tonight, we trace the chilling timeline of a nightmare that became a shared reality and ask the question they're still afraid to answer. Were they dreaming it, or was something dreaming them? The first sign wasn't a scream, it was a whisper. Private Davies, the youngest, wrote it off as bad chow, dream of being buried. He mentioned it to Corporal Choi over a game of solitaire. Choi's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. He dreamt of earth pressing down on his chest just the night before. A coincidence, they laughed. A nervous laugh. Sergeant Vance logged it in his mental file, isolation stress monitor. But then his own night came, and in it, he wasn't sleeping. He was outside, at the Combs Array digging, and the scraping sound wasn't coming from his shovel. This is where the story should end. Shared stress. Folie à deux. Except a pattern needs only 2 points. It now had 5. And when Vance, breaking protocol, reached out on a secure but informal channel to 2 other outposts on the same geological ridge, he got 2 responses. The first, "You're not crazy. You've got a digger dream here too." The second was just 3 words, the back-turned figure. 3 separate teams. Over 20 soldiers, all reporting the same core elements, the crushing pressure, the metallic scraping, and a tall, slender silhouette on the periphery of the dream, always facing away. The nightmare had a geography, and it was their entire operational sector. Faced with the impossible, the mind races for frameworks. The local guides, before they stopped coming, spoke of the Jinn, of the deep earth beings of compressed stone and ancient memory, whose dreams could seep upwards. A fairy tale. Science offered another, infrasound, low-frequency sound waves produced by geological faults or wind over certain rock formations, can induce feelings of dread, unease, and even visual hallucinations. Was the mountain itself a sleeping giant of shifting tectonic plates, humming a nightmare into their brains? They tried to block it out. Earplugs, white noise, it didn't matter. The dream wasn't coming through their ears. It was appearing fully formed, behind their eyelids every night at 3:17 a.m., as regular as a clock, as personal as a memory that wasn't theirs. Then, on the night of a total communications blackout, the last tether to the world snipped by a solar flare, the outpost went silent. No radio chatter, no satellite ping, just the wind, and then a new sound, not in their heads. Through the soles of their boots, a deep, resonant thump, followed by the unmistakable, grinding scrape of stone on stone. The nightmare had found a voice in the waking world. Sergeant Vance made a choice. To break a spell, sometimes you must walk into its center. He ordered his men to lock down and monitor the feeds. He was going outside. What he found at the base of the communications array was simply disturbed earth, freshly turned, as if something had risen or something had been buried. He swept his light to the ridgeline, and for a fraction of a second, the thermal imaging in his helmet captured it, a heat signature. Humanoid, but elongated, standing precisely where the dream figure always stood. Then, like a switched-off monitor, it was gone. Not a movement, a deletion. The scraping never returned. The dream stopped that night. The official report filed by Vance cited extreme environmental stress and mass psychogenic illness. It was the only answer that could be typed on a form, but in his personal journal, he wrote this: "We did not share a hallucination. We shared a shift. We're the temporary watchmen for a presence that sleeps in the rock. And for a few weeks it turned over in its slumber, and we felt its dream." So what did they experience? A perfect storm of infrasound and isolation, or something older, a remnant consciousness in the land itself. The men of Outpost Vega never spoke of it again. They all knew. The most terrifying enemy is not the one that attacks your position. It's the one that knows the position of your mind and leaves a shared nightmare as its calling card.